Because I'm literally handing you the solution on a silver platter. I'm telling you right now that your makeup doesn't look good.
And while the Point of View Beauty founder may not be rushing to have a baby right now, she is certainly eager to have some fun with the internet trolls.
Mikayla Nogueira was once the internet's most relatable beauty guru. The thick accent, the brutal honesty, the skin struggles. She wasn't perfect, and that's exactly why millions trusted her. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Now, Michaela's brand feels more like a checklist of controversies than content. Undisclosed sponsorships, recycled skincare claims, shady product dupes, and a growing disconnect between what she sells and what she shows us. And despite being called out again and again, nothing sticks. The backlash fades. The patterns repeat.
Michaela's lies have cost me $10,000. Yes, I am $10,000 in debt
And fans are left wondering, is Michaela just ignoring the criticism, or is she playing a much smarter game than anyone realized? Because if she's learned one thing from the beauty world, it's that a little controversy can still go a long way. In the early days of TikTok's rise, Mikayla Nogueira wasn't just another beauty influencer, she was the antithesis of one. No Beverly Hills mansion, no designer filters, no curated aesthetic, just a young woman in her bedroom, passionately reviewing products, testing formulas on camera, and giving brutally honest opinions with a thick Massachusetts accent that made her stand out instantly. People didn't just like her, they trusted her.
Video asking Michaela if there was any way she would review my small business. My business Illusion Bronze went viral last.
She didn't look like your average influencer, and she didn't act like one either. She ranted about beauty standards. She showed her texture, her acne, her bare face. She shared her insecurities, she cried, and most importantly, she made viewers feel like they were watching a friend, not a walking brand. But as her platform grew into the millions and sponsorships started rolling in, something shifted. The girl who once built her brand on authenticity was suddenly being accused of the very things she used to rally against. Rumors began circulating that her accent was exaggerated or completely fake, that she was name-dropping or collaborating with other creators only to climb the algorithm faster.
I just explained, hey, there's this multi-million-dollar company who's sort of knocking off my idea and I could really use your help.
It was small stuff at first, easily dismissed, but it planted the first seeds of doubt, and then came Lashgate. It was just another mascara ad, or at least it should have been, but Michaela's lashes looked a little too good. Viewers zoomed in, paused frames, and started comparing shots. The accusations came fast. She was wearing falsies in a paid promotion and pretending it was the product. And the problem? She didn't say otherwise, no disclaimer, no explanation. Just a heavily edited video and a caption telling fans to run and buy it. The internet erupted. Michaela didn't address it directly. Instead, she vanished for a bit, then returned like nothing had happened. Dropping new promos, new makeup looks, and more glowing product claims. For many fans, that moment marked a turning point. She didn't just avoid the controversy. She seemed to ignore the very trust she'd built her platform on. And that silence spoke volumes. From there, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Week after week, Michaela promoted new skincare lines, each one claiming to be her must-have, each one miraculously responsible for her flawless skin. Fans started documenting the sponsorship carousel, noticing contradictions in her routines, and questioning how she could be using 5 different miracle serums, all at once.
Ilia Beauty. This looks nice. Niacinamide squalene and hyaluronic acid and SPF 40. Skin tint is very...
Even worse, many of those videos lacked proper FTC disclosures. No ad, no verbal statement, just buried hashtags and affiliate links. For someone who once prided herself on being real, it began to look like Michaela was now just cashing checks and hoping no one would notice. But people noticed, And while many influencers have bounced back from worse, Michaela's situation felt different because she didn't just have followers. She had fans who had once defended her fiercely. Now, those same fans were the ones asking the hard questions. Had Michaela changed, or had she just gotten better at hiding behind the illusion of authenticity?
Your makeup looks like and you're broke.
I'm using that quote to buy a billboard in Times Square. Hear me out. This is from
One thing was certain. The girl who once rose to fame by being relatable now seemed unreachable. And for an influencer whose power came from trust, that's the most dangerous shift of all. As Michaela's career evolved from relatable TikToker to multi-million-dollar brand owner, one thing became increasingly obvious. The line between personal recommendation and paid promotion was getting blurrier by the day, and viewers were starting to catch on. One of the biggest ongoing criticisms she faces, and perhaps the most damaging to her credibility, is her repeated failure to properly disclose sponsorships. Time and time again.
So I watched your video, and you recommended 3 products for face prep.
Hyaluronic acid, Neutrogena Hydro Boost, Hydro Touch from NYX.
Michaela has posted glowing reviews for products with clear signs of being ads. Enthusiastic testimonials, promo codes, affiliate links, full product walkthroughs, but with no clear FTC disclosure. Sometimes she tucks partner or ad deep into the caption alongside a dozen irrelevant hashtags. Other times, she skips it entirely. And in the world of influencer marketing, that's not just shady, it's illegal. Take her now infamous videos promoting Korean skincare brand Mixsoon. On the surface, it looks like a genuine recommendation. She praises the ingredients, demonstrates the products on camera, even claims she's been using them for months. But there's no verbal mention of the deal, no ad up top.
Get ready with me to be inaugurated onto the Time 100 list.
Just a long block of hashtags, where partner is hidden in the middle, barely visible unless you're hunting for it. And it doesn't stop there. Just weeks later, she posts another video hyping up a different brand's under-eye serum. Again, glowing praise, full application tutorial, branded language, but no disclosure. The video looks and feels exactly like a paid partnership. And based on the brand's presence in her comment section, it likely was. This pattern has repeated itself with dozens of posts across multiple brands across skincare, hair care, and cosmetics. And while her defenders claim it's an honest mistake or oversight, critics, and increasingly former fans,
Mikayla Nogueira has clapped back at Jeffree Star in the most graceful, passive-aggressive way ever.
see it as part of a larger, deliberate strategy. Maximize income while minimizing transparency. But it's not just the lack of disclosure that's setting off alarm bells, it's the volume. At one point, Michaela was promoting so many different skincare and beauty products, it became impossible to tell what she actually used or even believed in. One week, it was product A that gave her flawless skin. The next, it was product B, then C, then a fourth from a totally different brand with the same miracle claims. And all of this came after launching her own skincare line, POV Beauty. Logically, you'd think she would prioritize her own brand.
The point of view just made that 10 times easier because you can now build your own bundle on the site. When you build
But instead, she doubled down on sponsored skincare content, promoting competitors' products without hesitation. When fans asked how these new miracle serums fit into her POV routine, her answers were vague, contradictory, or dismissive. One fan commented, "Should we use this or your line?" Michaela replied, "Depends on your needs." Another asked, "What about POV?" She responded flatly, "What about it?" For someone running a personal beauty brand, it came off cold, even calculated. And that disconnect only made her critics louder. They began compiling receipts, calling out inconsistencies, and, more than anything,
different bundles based on what I think you should get. You want to truly transform your skin. I'm talking product.
asking the same question over and over again. What does Michaela actually stand for anymore? Is she just chasing the next check? Is she still passionate about beauty? Or is her audience just a tool to keep the money machine running? It's not that sponsorships are wrong. Audiences understand the business. But what viewers won't tolerate is being lied to, misled, or treated like they won't notice. And in Michaela's case, more and more people were noticing. In a space where authenticity is currency, Michaela was spending hers fast and not replenishing it. When Michaela launched POV Beauty, her skincare brand,
first impressions on Mikayla Nogueira's new brand, POV. You know how I feel about influencers making their own makeup or skincare line.
many assumed it would signal a shift, a new era where she'd stand behind her own products with the same energy that launched her influencer career. But instead of a clean break from sponsored skincare, Michaela introduced a new label, Skin Prep. It sounded strategic. By calling her products prep instead of skincare, Michaela gave herself wiggle room. Technically, she wasn't contradicting herself when she promoted other brands' serums or moisturizers, because POV wasn't being positioned as direct competition. It was prep, not treatment, an essential step before makeup, not a replacement for a full routine.
But then I realized, is Michaela starting like low-key a new category? From what I've heard, this.
But to viewers, the distinction felt thin. One day, she'd post a glowing routine featuring her own brand, raving about how it gave her flawless skin. The next, she'd be promoting a completely different serum with the same exact claims. This time from a brand paying for the spotlight. It left fans confused. If POV was truly her go-to, why promote anything else? And if the other product really was better, what did that say about her own? It's a classic influencer tightrope, claiming authenticity while chasing sponsorships. But Michaela's balancing act started to crack. Her responses to fan confusion only added to the skepticism.
Okay, I'm kind of manic right now, so I'm gonna reply to this. No. So,
When asked why she was pushing products from other brands, she replied with phrases like, different purposes or depends on your needs. And when followers pointed out the contradiction, she brushed it off with vague comments that sidestepped the real issue: trust. The deeper problem wasn't just the number of products she endorsed, it was the way they were framed. Everything was game-changing, my favorite, the reason my skin looks this good. The messaging was always absolute, even when the products changed week to week. And in an industry where credibility is everything, those mixed messages felt more like marketing than honesty. Worse, some followers began to believe that the term skin prep,
milk, drip it, nourish and glow serum, whip it, hydrate in whipped cream, glaze it,
was never about helping consumers at all. It was about helping Michaela keep the brand deals rolling in without having to commit to one product line. It was less about clarity and more about covering her bases. In a landscape where transparency is currency, Michaela's rebrand strategy came off less like clever positioning and more like a loophole, one that kept her sponsorship pipeline open, even if it came at the cost of clarity, credibility, and connection. If there's one issue that keeps circling Michaela like a storm cloud, it's her consistent failure to properly disclose sponsored content. It's become a defining part of the backlash surrounding her, not just because it violates guidelines.
Shocker, TikTok removed my video talking about Michaela and Rich Lux. You can watch the video on my Twitter account, YouTube,
But because it breaks the unspoken contract between influencer and audience. For years, Michaela has promoted skincare, makeup, and hair care products with glowing reviews, only for fans to discover later, sometimes through hashtags buried in the caption, that the content was paid for. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, makes it clear, if you're being paid to promote something, you must say so plainly and upfront. That means no hiding disclosures in a sea of text, no subtle nods in the comments, and no assuming that your followers just know. But Michaela has repeatedly tiptoed around these rules.
Of Korean-inspired ingredients, dermatologist-approved, clinical and consumer claim.
Take her sponsored posts for brands like Mixsoon and Belif, two skincare companies she's promoted with near-identical enthusiasm to her own products. In each case, there was no verbal mention of sponsorship. And while the post may have technically included a disclosure in the form of a buried word like partner in a list of promotional tags, it was clear the intention wasn't transparency. It was to slide under the radar. The irony? Michaela is one of the most visible beauty influencers on the platform. Her fans dissect her routines, brands fight for her approval, and yet, instead of owning her influence, she appears to be sidestepping accountability.
I'm talking full beat, or you just love to wear makeup, you're gonna do drip it, amp it, and glaze it. This is the Nourish and Glow Serum.
As if the rules don't apply because of her status. The problem here goes beyond legality. This is about audience trust. When someone buys a product because Michaela said it changed her skin, they're buying into the belief that she genuinely uses and loves that item. But when the line between paid promotion and personal recommendation is blurred or outright hidden, that trust breaks. And once it breaks, it doesn't come back easily. Even worse, fans aren't the only ones noticing. Fellow creators, watchdog accounts, and media outlets have all pointed out the pattern. Michaela's name has become synonymous with influencer controversies.
Mikayla Nogueira has clapped back at Jeffree Star in the most graceful, passive-aggressive way ever.
Not just for what she promotes, but how she promotes it. She's now part of the larger conversation around influencer responsibility, and not in a flattering way. And the brands? They're not innocent either. These companies approve the content before it goes live. They see the missing disclosures, the vague captions, and still sign off. Which means the deception isn't just coming from Michaela. It's baked into the partnerships themselves. The result is a cycle that keeps repeating. Michaela posts glowing reviews. Fans discover the truth. Outrage follows. But instead of change, we get silence, or worse, deflection.
Like a human life, and there's some really dack shit going on in my family.
For someone who built an empire on relatability and connection, Michaela's refusal to meet even the most basic transparency standards is doing more damage than any product failure ever could. Because when viewers start wondering if everything is just a paid performance, even the most authentic moments begin to feel fake. Michaela isn't just promoting one or two products. She's promoting everything. Every few days, it seems there's a new holy grail in her routine. One week, it's a serum she can't live without. The next, it's a sunscreen that's completely changed her skin, followed closely by a moisturizer she's been obsessed with for months. But if you actually track her posts, a pattern emerges.
Let's not even waste any time, okay? Let's just get right into it. I've never used a...
And it's not just about skincare. It's about inconsistency, oversaturation, and the slow erosion of credibility. This is someone who now owns her own skincare brand, POV Beauty, a line she publicly launched with pride, a line she told her audience was her true skin prep secret. So why is she still shilling for every other brand under the sun? The answer seems simple. Sponsorships pay. But the damage it does to her brand and her image is far more costly. When Michaela claims she's been using a competitor's product for months while also promoting her own line during the same time frame,
when I did Michaela's makeup routine, y'all blew up the video. Look at those numbers. I love you guys. So I thought...
Followers don't just get confused. They get suspicious. They start asking questions in the comments. What about POV? Didn't you just say that serum was your go-to? Is this one better than your own product? And Michaela's answers aren't always reassuring. Sometimes she leans into vague phrasing like different purposes or I love many products. Other times, She outright dodges the comparison altogether. But the effect is the same. It feels like there's no clear line between what she actually believes in and what she's being paid to say. That would be fine if she were just a general beauty reviewer, but she's not. She's a founder, and her followers are no longer just casual viewers.
Mikayla Nogueira went live. I asked her, so does this mean that you're gonna start battling now? Here's what she said.
They're customers. They're investors in her success. And every time she undermines her own brand for a quick sponsorship check, she's quietly telling them that loyalty doesn't go both ways. It's also overwhelming. Her fans are struggling to keep up. Should I buy this? Wait, isn't this skincare routine different from last week's? How do I know what you really use? The sheer volume of endorsements is numbing, and the trust that once made her recommendations so valuable is thinning by the day. It's one thing to diversify, it's another to dilute. And Michaela's brand, the one that was built on honesty, relatability, and real results, is starting to feel like it's for sale to the highest bidder.
I wanted to simplify it and make it easy. Not only did I want it to have insane
and in a space as crowded and competitive as beauty, that's a risky place to be. Because when everything is a favorite, nothing really is. Even as Michaela tries to move forward with her brand and expand her image, one thing keeps pulling her back: the drama. And not just new controversies, old ones that refuse to fade because they've become part of how the internet defines her. Take the infamous Lashgate scandal. That one incident where Michaela was accused of wearing false lashes in a sponsored mascara review without disclosing it permanently shifted how viewers saw her. It wasn't just about the lashes. It was about trust.
Is calling her out for wearing false eyelashes and acting like she isn't. On Instagram, she hasn't posted in quite a few days.
And it made people start looking closer at everything else. Every sponsored post, every brand shout out, every before and after. Now, nearly every time Michaela posts a paid promotion, her own followers jump in to ask, is this another Lashgate? That single moment turned a beauty influencer's fan base into watchdogs. And it hasn't gone away. But it's not just the past haunting her. The newer controversies feel just as relentless. Most recently, Michaela faced backlash for allegedly copying another creator's viral dupe discovery, promoting a blowout spray as an alternative to a luxury product without crediting the original creator who made it blow up.
A video in response saying she could have just DM'd him and he would have taken down the video. Let's hope TikTok doesn't take this video down.
Her response, dismissive. Fans weren't impressed. And when viewers feel like their favorite influencers are ignoring valid criticism, or worse, acting above accountability, that creates an even deeper divide. For someone whose career was built on relatability and just like us energy, Michaela's tone lately has felt more corporate, more controlled, and more defensive, less real. Even her Business of Fashion panel appearance stirred up more tension than inspiration. Asked directly about her past controversies, including Lashgate, Michaela's reaction was visibly uncomfortable.
Bro, I have tried to put you on these lashes a million times and no one listens to me. They are the kids.
And her comments about influencer brands being held to higher standards than luxury companies didn't land the way she might have hoped. Because to many viewers, the issue isn't about being held to a higher standard. It's about being honest when no one's watching. It's about how you handle success, not just how you get it. And for Michaela, the lingering drama isn't just a distraction. It's a narrative that's starting to define her. A brand is only as strong as the story people believe about it. And right now, that story is messy. If she wants to change the conversation, she has to do more than rebrand her packaging or post the occasional vulnerable clip. She has to rebuild something far more valuable than hype.
Nobody freak out, but this is Michaela putting makeup on my face. I was invited to the very first POV Labs, which is a collaboration.
She has to rebuild trust. Michaela's rise was fueled by her real girl image. Thick Boston accent, acne-prone skin, unfiltered honesty. She didn't look like a model, and she didn't act like one either. That's what made her different. That's what made her big. But lately, that relatability is slipping fast. Over time, fans started noticing a disconnect. Michaela's unfiltered TikTok videos began to look more polished. Her once transparent tutorials now felt more like polished ads. Her face, more sculpted. Her voice, subtler. Her feed, full glam, less grit.
I think we can all agree we're obsessed with the viral Biodance collagen mask. What if I told you they now have collagen gel?
The same girl who once cried on camera about her acne was now pushing product after product, each one magically the best. And here's the real issue. In 2024, audiences don't just want beauty tips, they want to believe the person giving them. They crave creators who are vulnerable, raw, and consistent. When someone's entire brand is built on trust, any sign of inauthenticity, even a subtle one, can feel like betrayal. It's why Michaela's undisclosed sponsorships hit so hard. It's not just an FTC violation, it's a signal to fans that maybe, just maybe, the honesty they once loved was part of the performance.
My small business, she reviews the specific line from the multi-million-dollar company who was knocking me off.
What makes it worse is that other creators, smaller ones, are being held to higher standards by their own followers. When they mess up, they face the consequences immediately. For Michaela, the internet keeps asking,
more seriously,
why does she keep getting a pass?
Clearly not.
Some fans are still fiercely loyal. They
defend
defend her in comments, they buy the products she promotes. But even among those supporters, there's a growing discomfort. Because when someone who used to be the most real person online starts to feel calculated, that shift is impossible to ignore. The influencer world has changed. Today's top creators don't just build brands.
Social media, so I'm sure you've probably heard it already. Michaela the other day decided that she was going to go through all of her makeup products and
they build trust economies. They're not just faces on a screen. They're supposed to be extensions of the audience. Michaela once nailed that dynamic. Now, she feels more distant than ever. And in the end, that's the danger. The moment you stop feeling like one of us, we stop listening. At this point, it's hard not to wonder, is Michaela even enjoying this anymore? The spark that once made her content addictive, that messy, chaotic, deeply human energy, feels like it's flickering out. Yes, she's still posting. Yes, the sponsorships are still rolling in. But the vibe has shifted. The girl who once filmed in her bedroom talking straight from the heart.
These are the best toner pads on the market, and in combination with the mask, oof, I'm telling you this is gonna sell out.
Now seems like she's stuck in a corporate loop, churning out content that feels more contractual than creative. And maybe that's the real problem here. Maybe Michaela isn't a villain, maybe she's just exhausted. Because think about it, she's not just a creator anymore. She's a brand founder, a public figure, a constant target. Every post is analyzed, every ad scrutinized, every product launch becomes a battlefield. That kind of pressure changes people, and if you're not grounded, if you don't have a clear purpose behind what you're doing, it becomes really easy to lose yourself in the noise. The irony is brutal. Michaela built her platform on being the relatable girl who made it big.
The full bundle with the subscription, there is something for you. Let me know which one you decide to do.
But now that she's made it, she's lost the very thing that made her special. She's no longer one of us. She's someone we watch and question. And that tension is unsustainable because even the most loyal fan base has limits. Even the most forgiving audience eventually notices when someone is just going through the motions. And in Michaela's case, the audience has been watching her slip further and further away from the version of herself they once loved. If this is burnout, Michaela's not alone. Many influencers have hit the same wall. But what separates those who bounce back from those who fade out is self-awareness.
Get dressed with me to be inaugurated onto the Time 100 list. Like, if there is a time
the ability to pause, reevaluate, and rebuild with intention. So the question now isn't whether Michaela can keep going, it's whether she should. Because if the passion is gone, if the trust is fractured, and if the love for the work has been replaced by fatigue, then what's the point? At some point, the views stop mattering, the brand deals dry up. And all that's left is whether people still believe in who you are, not just what you sell. And right now, that belief is hanging by a thread. Michaela used to be the internet's favorite underdog. Raw, real, and deeply relatable. But somewhere along the way, that authenticity turned into obligation.
This might be, or it is, my best work. The stylist is gonna be here in like 20 minutes. Updo.
The transparency faded, the energy dulled, and now what's left is a brand that looks polished on the outside but feels hollow underneath. This isn't just about one creator missing FTC disclosures or chasing too many sponsorships. It's about how fast the internet builds people up and how quickly it turns on them when the connection starts to feel fake. Michaela didn't just build a beauty empire. She built a relationship with millions of viewers who saw themselves in her. And when that trust cracks, the entire foundation starts to wobble. But this story isn't over, because the truth is Michaela still has time.
Get ready with me to be inaugurated onto the Time 100 list.
Time to reconnect with her audience. Time to rediscover the passion behind the posts. Time to rebuild the trust she once had, not through perfect branding or flawless content, but by being the brutally honest version of herself that people originally fell for. The real question is, does she want to? Because at this point, viewers aren't just watching for the makeup tips or product reviews, they're watching to see what Michaela does next, not as a brand, but as a person. Let us know what you think in the comments. Has Michaela gone too far to recover? Or could this be the wake-up call that brings her back to who she really is?